As I'm sure we all know, sim racing can be confusing, difficult, and even annoying at times, especially when you're first getting started. My name is Still Split, and today I'm going to go over 5 things that you should know before you start sim racing. I already made a video similar to this on rallying, so today we're going to switch to the circuit racing side of things. Before we get started, I do prefer quality over quantity. I'm going over the necessities and the basics that you need, rather than shoving a bunch of facts and tips into your face. With that being said, let's get started. In most sim racing games, there's an assist option in the settings called the quote-unquote ideal line. And to put it bluntly, this thing is a straight up lie. More often than not, the ideal line is actually slower than the way you should be driving the track, and I'm going to teach you guys how to learn a track properly. Let's first talk about why the ideal line is a lie and how it's actually going to end up slowing you down more than it is helping you. As you can see, the main issue with the ideal line is it doesn't promote a couple of key factors to going quick. You're not using the whole track, your braking is going to be inconsistent, etc. This was on the Red Bull ring, which I had only driven a couple times on a Assetto Corsa before recording this video, and I improved my lap time by a ton by using my usual strategy to learning a new track. It's also good to mention that for the first couple months of sim racing, I did use the ideal line, so I know firsthand that the strategy does work, and here it is. Step 1. Drive anywhere from 10 to 15 laps with or without the ideal line on. It's up to you, and simply memorize the layout of the track. Memorize all the corners, and don't focus on going fast just yet. Just set a base lap time that you can build and improve on as you learn. Step 2. Watch a track guide online. Watch how they take the corners and what their braking points are. This helps me go quicker more than anything personally, and it can teach you the track limits and how much later you can brake coming into the corners. Step 3. After watching a track guide, do another 10 to 15 laps using their line and see how much you can improve. Don't overdrive the car or anything like that, just focus on learning their line and slowly improving your line over time. Slowly start to push the limits of the track and find your rhythm as you go. Step 4. Either make your own or look for a setup online for your car of choice on whatever track you're learning. Not every game has this, but a good setup can be super helpful on going quicker and make the car just a little bit easier to drive depending on your driving style. Step 5. Make mistakes, overdrive the car, find the limits of the track and yourself, and push them even further. This step can be frustrating, especially if you're crashing left and right and can't seem to find your rhythm, but it's part of the process and will help you go faster long term. The best way to learn how to not hit a wall is to hit a wall. The final step is to just put in the time and effort. Once you've found a setup that you like and you've watched all the track guides and you feel like you're hitting your limit, it's time to push that limit. Just keep driving the track, do laps over and over and over again, and eventually you're going to get that perfect lap that just hooks up just right and you're going to improve. It's good to take breaks during this stage so you don't end up getting frustrated and rage quitting or anything like that. Sometimes it is better to just take a step back, go drink some water, go take a break, maybe even for a full day, and then come back to it once your mind has kind of reset, if that makes sense. You don't have to follow these steps exactly, but I guarantee they're going to make you go a whole lot faster than the ideal line would. You're going to learn the limits of the track, you're going to learn how to find your own braking points, and that's something that the ideal line could never teach you. With that being said, let's segue into the next section, which is practicing actual racecraft and not just hot laps. While having good pace/qualifying time is important, it means almost nothing if you can't put that pace into effect during an actual race. Yes, going fast is a key component to racing, but you have to be able to do that while navigating around other cars and also do so consistently over the course of however long that race is. Racecraft is the art of guiding your car around the other racers around you, whether this be overtaking someone, getting overtaken, defending or attacking, basically just racing in close proximity to other racers cleanly and efficiently. Racecraft is key to not only succeeding in racing, but also being liked by other racers around you. Shameful rammers. The way I learned Racecraft is honestly just like how I learned the majority of the tracks I race on, by watching the pros do it first. I watched a lot of other sim racers and real drivers alike before I got decent at Racecraft, and another good way to learn is to practice with AI. Although AI races are not super reliable because the AI in most games are not very realistic. A key component to Racecraft is being able to read your opponent, pinpointing their weaknesses and strengths and building up your attacks around that. Maybe they're slower through a certain corner than you are, maybe they're losing time in a certain sector of the track, Being able to read your opponent is one of the most important parts of Racecraft. It's also good to remember that the optimal or racing line is not always the best line to take during the actual race. Yes, it is hypothetically the fastest way around the track, but more often than not, there's going to be a lot of things getting in the way of you actually taking that perfect line. This could be a car in front of you, or maybe a car attacking from behind that you need to defend against. Either way, positioning your car correctly and adapting your line is crucial for a good race. This is why you'll often see racers with slower qualifying pace end up near the front of the pack and vice versa. Their racecraft is simply better. Patience is also key to a good race. Knowing the correct time to overtake is important. If you're going to go for a move, you have to stick to it. Fully commit. Going for a move then backing out halfway will not only slow you down, but also can confuse other drivers and possibly lead to an accident. I could make a whole video on this, let me know if that's something that you guys want to see, but my main tips are: learn from other drivers, commit to overtakes, practice with bots or AI before racing with real people. Next up, we're going to talk about embracing your mistakes and how you can learn from them. Whether you like it or not, at some point we're all going to make mistakes. Could be anything from going for a move you probably shouldn't have gone for, messing up a corner, or even crashing so bad you put yourself out of the race. Main thing here is not to get upset or angry when these mistakes do occur. Don't beat yourself up over them. Literally everyone has been there. Being able to learn and adapt from your mistakes will not only help you improve in the long run, but prove you have good character as a person. There's been many times where maybe I kept going for the wrong moves, or didn't have enough fuel in the car, or couldn't get a certain corner down. While these mistakes suck in the moment, you have to be able to push past them and keep trying. For instance, I struggled with the Ascari turns 8, 9, and 10 around Monza for a very long time. It was probably one of my worst corners around the track. I couldn't figure out how to carry enough speed while keeping the car stable for the life of me, but I kept on trying and failing until eventually one day it just clicked. Now, I'm by no means fast around Monza. I'm about 2 to 3 seconds off the esports times, but I can confidently take those corners a lot better and without spinning out after a lot of trial and error. The main point is, don't give up because it's hard or frustrating. Keep pushing forward and improving. The satisfaction you'll feel after looking back and seeing how far you've come is unmatched. Next up, we're going to talk about one of the most important things, which is braking and throttle technique. This is one of the main things that can slow you down if you don't do it correctly, so I'm going to go over the basics and everything you should know as you're getting started. The way you handle your pedals is vital to going fast. I'm going to go over the main technique for both pedals, which is trail braking and the string technique. The way most people learn to brake is to brake, turn, then get back on the throttle. While this isn't necessarily wrong, the brake has a lot more uses than just slowing you down before the corner. Using the brake effectively can move the weight of the car to the front, which results in more grip in the front tires and less grip in the back tires, aka better rotation. Trail braking is exactly that, rotating the rear of the car in a more effective manner. Giving the front tires more grip while cornering allows you to not only corner better and smoother, but carry more momentum and speed. You don't need this as much in the higher speed corners, as the back tires still need plenty of grip while putting the power down, but trail braking is still very important to becoming a faster driver. Trail braking essentially blends the braking and turning process into one fluent motion, and here's how to learn and practice it in your own driving. Starting off, you need to mostly brake in a straight line, as this is when the brakes are the most effective. As your steering angle increases, start to slowly and smoothly ease off the brakes. Doing this motion smoothly is important, as if you're too quick to let off, this can upset the car. As you start to reach the apex of the corner, you should be almost, if not fully, off the brake as you start to accelerate out of the corner. This technique requires a lot of seat time and practice, but also a good feel for your pedals. I can make a whole video on this explaining it in more depth, so let me know if that's something that you guys want to see. Next up, the string technique for the throttle. Pretend like there's an invisible string attached from the wheel to your throttle pedal. As you turn through the corner and your steering angle increases, the string is tightened and pulls the throttle pedal up. As you start to straighten out the wheel through the exit of the corner, that string is slowly and smoothly loosened as you start to get back on the throttle. This helps you find the balance of throttle versus steering and can help you make smoother exits out of corners. Smooth throttle inputs are just as important as braking. You don't want to be on and off the pedal going through the corner. You want one continuous motion as you navigate through that corner. Getting on the throttle too early can result in oversteer and spinning out. Getting on too late can result in upsetting the balance of the car or understeer and losing exit speed. I don't remember where I learned this string technique. It was either on an old YouTube video or a Reddit post or something, but either way, it really helped me find the balance of all the cars I was driving when I first started sim racing. But as you start to get more seat time and experience, this will start to come more naturally to you. For the last tip of this video, I'm going to tell you guys something that I'd tell every new sim racer when they ask me for advice. Eliminate every distraction possible. I said the same thing in my rally video, and I can't stress enough how helpful this can be. Clearing off your HUD to show only the necessities will help you maintain focus during a race or a good qualifying lap. I do this in basically every sim I play. I set my HUD to show only what I really need to know and nothing else. This tip might seem kind of basic, but I genuinely believe that it will help you stay focused and ultimately go faster. Eliminating distractions around your rig can really help too. That could be putting your phone a good distance away so it doesn't distract you, or turning off anything that can make noise, something like that. With that being said, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it helpful. I worked really hard on it, and it took a long time and a lot of effort to make, so I really hope that in some way I could help you guys out. Consider leaving a like and subscribing if you want to see more videos like this, and if you guys have any ideas for videos, be sure to tell me in the comments or in one of my community posts. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time.